Hi everyone, this is Pradeep Khanna from Sydney in Australia. I am the Executive Director Asia Pacific for the VRAR Association as well as CEO of Global Mindset. I am delighted to present to you today a session on leveraging augmented reality for jewelry and watches. In a contactless world, in a brave new world, in the current COVID and the post-COVID environment, which has changed all our lives. And let me introduce our speakers to you. We have an interesting session today. And first and foremost, being the gentleman that I am, I will introduce ladies first. And let me introduce Meghna. She is that beautiful girl you can see over there, and she's doing some wonderful work in augmented reality and virtual reality. I'm not even sure whether that's her avatar or whether she has joined in person. Meghna, can you please raise your hand?
Hi, everybody.
Fabulous. Then I'm absolutely delighted to present Sachin. This is the man you need to go to if you want diamonds. He is the head of Debeers India. Debeers, which is the largest and the biggest and the most famous diamond mining company, which from earlier days I remember used to be something that you talked about in hush hush tones, but I don't know what is in the brave new world. So, Sachin, can you please raise your hand?
Thank you, Pradeep. Thanks for having me over. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you.
Fabulous. And next, I have another gentleman who not only has jewelry, but he has a little bit of watches also. But he's not wearing any one of those when he's talking to me today. And this is Arun. Arun is the vice president and the head of uh, what is the most prominent brand in India called Tanishq in jewelry. And Tanishq is a business group of a company called Titan, which is into watches as well as jewelry. Now, uh, for everybody else's knowledge, Titan is part of the Tata Group, which is one of the conglomerates in India. So when Arun talks, wow, are you talking on behalf of the Tatas, Arun? But never mind that. Please raise your hand, Arun.
Thank you, Pradeep. Thank you for having me here. Very happy to join in from Bangalore, India.
Lovely, the Silicon Valley of India. Now over to Philip. We go across to Switzerland, and we've got somebody who has spent his lifetime only in watches. And we are talking to somebody who is the CEO of the second oldest watch company in the world. It is absolutely delightful to have you over here, Philip. How is the weather? Are you seeing the Alps from you when you look from your window, or which part of Switzerland are you in?
Hello to everybody out there in the world and especially in India. No, it's still early in the morning. It's very cloudy, but in a few minutes I will see the mountains over there on my left hand.
Fabulous,
Hello.
fabulous, fabulous. Love to. And let's kick off the discussion today. And what are we talking about? We are talking about, first of all, how to leverage immersive technologies into a high end consumer product like jewelry and watches. But we are also talking about another aspect in the new brave new world where COVID is the dominant theme and where contact is a curse. So, how do we leverage AR or augmented reality in jewelries and watches in a contactless world? And Meghna, I mean, I get confused when I talk about such big words like augmented reality and contactless world and all that. can you just showcase as to what are we talking about and some idea of this experience?
So because we are talking about the contactless world, we all are talking about where we can't get out of our houses. And we are all very scared to forget going to a store, but also touching our lifts or car doors. And that's the situation we are in. To begin with, what I'm going to show you is an experience on myself. I'm sitting right now in Kolkata in India, and I will take you through two websites, which can be tried on from across the world, and I'll show you how you can try on jewelry from there, sitting at your home, and actually make purchases. I'm going to just share my screen to take you through the same. So here, if you see, I'm currently on Tanishq.co.in, which is India's #1 brand. If I go to any category, any products for that matter, you will see a lot of them says try on available. That means that I can actually sit at my home and try all these products without having to visit a Tanishq store right now. So this is like a lovely piece that I like, and I think that's going to look good on my face. Let's see if it does. And here I go. So I can just see how the product looks on me. Whether it's a small, big, however it is. But this is making my life much easier because whether it's on my desktop or on my phone, I can just go to a website, see how the product looks, try on myself, take pictures, share it with friends, and add to my cart, use my credit card and buy it. And it will be right at my doorstep. So this is what we are talking about contactless shopping. This is what we are talking about immersive experiences, where a person no longer needs to, go and physically touch or try, because augmented reality is making it come closer to your houses, closer on your phone, on your devices. That is making it much more and more seamless. So I'm going to show you a couple of high-end jewelry. So jewelry which is very heavy. It's also very difficult to try on a lot of pieces. And for jewelry which are really expensive, getting them at your home to see how it's going to look on you, especially during this contactless world, is absolutely difficult. I am totally in awe of this piece. And if you see, it just fits so beautifully on me. So I think this is the power of augmented reality, where you no longer are caged to the whole idea of going out. Also, trying jewelry is an experience, and it takes a lot of time. There is an inventory cost that is attached to every product that is there. So the amount of inventory that I can actually try on while I am at a store will be far more limited. But here, especially when it comes to online, it gives me access to a larger inventory. For brands, they can make customers try on as many products as they want, whether it is built, not built in manufacturing phase or in real phase. So that's the little bit of glimpse that I wanted to share.
Thank you very much. I am losing a lot of hair. So can I also try on wigs, different wigs as to what they look like on my head?
Surely.
Good.
Totally you can.
Then you got me hooked onto this. Now I go on to Sachin. Sachin, yes, I know that I can see all those augmented reality diamonds around your head. But could you tell us a bit more about your business? What exactly Debeers is, and kind of where does Meghna's offering and Debeers fit into? I would love to hear some more thoughts on that.
Great, Pradeep. Thanks for asking that question, or that wider question. So at De Beers, we are a 132-year-old, in my business, I call it a 132-year-old startup company. So what we do is that we wear a hat of complete modernity and a modern consumer and get ready for the future. And in the business, as you asked me, there are really two parts of broadly the business. One is what we call the upstream, which is, the whole trading activity from mine to the manufacturing. That's a very important part of the business. And the second other part of the business is consumer world. And Meghna's solutions are incredible. What she just showed us a glimpse of the whole consumer world, and that's very fascinating. But I'll touch upon both of them quickly. So on the first part, which is the business world, we as an organization sell our rough to certain companies in the world. We call them site holders. until COVID hit us, how much modern we were still selling it with physical travel of 15 to 20 hours. Every 5 weeks, people had to see their box, put an eyeglass, look at your diamond, and move it. Now, there were a lot of developments at the background happening, but I think with COVID, there's been an accelerator on all your thoughts because all those thoughts needed to be existing for survival. So we're trying to change that model where the entire B2B world is going to be digital, augmented, virtual, better viewing through technology, and that's how business is today. And I can tell you, Pradeep, that such a traditional business like ours, where the whole B2B world needed that handshake, needed that cup of coffee, needed that hug to transact business. And if our industry can move in the leaps and bounds in few months and get ready for transacting this new virtual world, I think tools like what Meghna just showed you, and I'm sure your phenomenal conference, I think all technology will be most welcome. That's a B2B world part. And on the consumer side, as again what Meghna mentioned, that consumers can't really come out on the physical stores. There's innate need to consume diamonds and jewelry, and Arun will talk about it as well in terms of how we've seen that the desire to own and to give to people who really matter is really at the highest right now. And since you cannot sort of go on to all these stores, tools like that we just seen from Meghna are making a huge impetus in how consumers can almost touch and feel our product, because it's a very personal product. One jewelry piece versus the other jewelry piece, one watch versus the other watch is so different. And consumers want to touch and feel. And I think in this era of phenomenal technology, that's really going to be helpful.
Okay, thank you very much. Arun, I saw the website which Meghna was showcasing. But instead of the jewelry, my eyes are all going to all the Bollywood heroines which were there over there. So my question is, me, a poor fellow sitting in Australia, can I ever hope to buy all that Tanishq jewelry? Or ever can I even think? So what is Tanishq and what is Titan? Could you just let me know? And how does this Meghna's offering? I know that she showed wearing jewelry, etc. But what impact is all that happening to your business? So over to you.
So thanks for the introduction and the kind words. We are fundamentally a consumer lifestyle and retail organization in three verticals predominantly: watches, jewelry, and eyewear. And I'll speak more about the jewelry business, which is central to today's discussion. So jewelry, our brand Tanishq is about 25 years old, and by the nature of the business in India, we are predominantly brick and mortar. 99.9% brick and mortar, and therefore you can imagine the impact on the business post-COVID from virtually 25th of March till the first week of May. All our stores were closed, and from the first week of May through the end of June, stores were in different stages of opening. And since then also we've had starts and stops because different parts of the country keep going into periodic lockdowns based on the situation on the ground. So certainly COVID has had an impact on our consumers, but also on our operations in a very large way. But it's also thrown opportunities to engage with consumers and conduct business, much like what Sachin has spoken. And that's where really augmented reality comes in, technology comes in, digitization comes in, and we've seen consumers rapidly adopt digital tools, and therefore as a brand, as a company, we need to be a few steps ahead of them. Our augmented reality journey began a couple of years back with Meghna's technology, but the objective then was quite different. The objective was to take our jewelry to consumers, and to consumers where there could be a higher level of engagement versus expecting them to come to our stores. So we had put up pop-up stores in airports across where we had a fairly high level of engagement. Luckily for us, the months of November and December see a lot of fog hit delays, and consumers are waiting in airports, or flyers are waiting in airports for their flights to take off, and sometimes flights could be delayed by 2, 3, or 4 hours, and that gave a lot of opportunity for them to check out our jewelry virtually, and that's where the journey began. And from there, during these COVID times, we've certainly seen anxiety on safety and a need to shop contactless or presence-less. Jewelry in India is a social, it's a social buying occasion. People, plan for it. You dress up, you go out as a family, and that's how you buy jewelry. And therefore, we've seen a lot of first-time online shoppers on our website, and for them, we had to virtually give a physical retail kind of experience to convince them to buy jewelry online. And that apart, there were others who were not comfortable buying jewelry online, who expected the store to, in a sense, visit them in their homes. So these are broadly two dimensions of presence-less that we are talking about. And therefore, having this technology, which Meghna just showed us, really helped us to give consumers a better visualization of the jewelry that they were looking at in terms of form, fit, how does it look on you, and convince them that the jewelry is right for them, which is what really this immersive technology is all about, and how it's kind of helping us in these times.
Thank you very much, Harun. And we now go to this gentleman from Switzerland. Philip, how does it feel to be the CEO of the second oldest watch company in the world? Man, you've got history behind you. Can you tell us a bit more about Favre-Leuba?
Yeah, it feels great just to say it like that. Huh? And for sure, it's not very lovely to be in such a period with COVID and all the story around. But I really like the challenge to have taken over the brand and also to lead the brand through these difficult times. And as you already said, we are the second oldest watch brand, but at the end of the day, this is only a number. And with this number, we are not selling any piece. So let's try all this history and this background, and let's connect it with the future. Let's connect it with innovation, and let's connect it with having new ideas. And I think this is what is now very important. The future will only be difficult when we don't dare and when we don't try out new things. And I think we are talking about trying out new things. So let's be close of what is going on out there in the world. Let's take all these opportunities and let's translate it into positive action for our brand.
But you are a very young guy for a company which is the second oldest watch company in the world. So is that also your avatar, or is it really you?
It's only my makeup.
Love it. Thank you very much.
That's it. We are living in a virtual world. No, it's my God. I'm not that young anymore. I have an experience of over 20 years in the watch industry, and it looks like to work for Favre-Leuba keeps us young.
So good to hear that. Okay, so Meghna, over to you. Are you a techo? Oh, who's the real Meghna? What has been your entrepreneurial journey? What was this? Where did you come up with augmented reality? So can we hear more about you?
So I'm not a techie. First of all, I am a graphic designer by profession. My vision was to bring in new age shopping experiences. Whether it is getting instant fashion advice from your friends, because I was terrible, at dressing up, so I would always seek advice. And I was always thinking that e-commerce is like, oh my God, wow, because from brick and mortar store, now you suddenly can see everything that's online. But what next? And I realized that Snapchat and Instagram are becoming like the most popular thing, because I would see everyone with doggy filters, on Snapchat and taking their pictures, sharing it with friends, etc. So that is when I realized the power of augmented reality, and it just drove me towards it. It took me a while to give away my job and suddenly say, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, because that's not easy. Without knowing how to code or how to, build a tech team, it was challenging, but I think I was lucky to have a mentor who's in fact the the owner, the founder of Naukri.com, and I happened to meet him because I was designing their annual reports. And one fine day, I went to him saying, "Hi, I'm the one who's your designer, but now I want to be an entrepreneur." And Sanjeev Bikhchandani, who's the founder of Naukri, agreed to be my mentor. And that is how it started. And the whole augmented reality for jewelry started because, as I said, I come from Indore. And when I went to different stores in Indore, they would show us all designs alike. Some of them would show us pamphlets or pictures on phones. And I was like, it doesn't look close to even what I want. That is when I realized that jewelry is a very capital intensive industry. It is extremely difficult for jewelers to store a lot of inventory. So even larger brands cannot have all the inventory in all the stores. And for smaller brands, rotating capital is a huge challenge. So that is how the whole idea came through.
I can
We
understand. I
had
can
a
see the passion coming through, and that's why I have to stop you because otherwise, the whole session will be up.
Sure.
You are so deeply love the passion. Now,
Thank you.
moving on to Sachin. Sachin, now see, when I look at your business, there is the front end side, there is the back end side, and there is a whole lot of supporting activities. And obviously, when you are in the kind of field you are, product design and development is a big aspect of that. How do you go about it right now? And do you see immersive technologies enhancing that proposition in terms of product design and development?
I think, Pradeep, the most fundamental difference that's happening today is the way consumers are looking at brands. I mean, go back 10 years, it was a one-way street. If you were a brand, you would tell the world where design is headed. You would tell them where the palette is headed. So everything was one way, one street driven. And again, that I'm not saying that completely goes away. So we have a large design center in Milan, and they come out with a trend report and they forecast trends and basis that the whole industry creates lines, some of them very niche, some of them very mass scale. Now, the most important aspect that's changing is in today's time, to tell a consumer is a two-way street. So it's almost interacting with consumers. It's the whole concept of design my own is a big step, and we encourage consumers to to interact with us and design what their interpretation of perhaps their wedding jewelry would be, and so on and so forth. So in that interactivity with consumers playing an equal role of what's unique to them, and in that sort of a journey, I think solutions of augmented reality, virtual spaces are going to be very, very important. I did share with you one time that a few years back, we started something as a very, very basic software where, you could design your own ring right from choosing your rough, then choosing your polished diamond, choosing your design, the kind of gold and all of that. And we thought that the consumer interest just in that simple offering was so high. I mean, leave aside how much, how you could do the e-commerce, whether it was safe or not safe at that time. There were a variety of questions, but the sheer interest in the category that got generated was phenomenal. And I think more and more design will be a two-way process. It will be a more collaborative process where brands or larger brands will go along with the consumers, certainly will be directional, but will not be as prescriptive. And I think the moment you say collaborative, and I think tools are required to build in that collaboration, to build in that personalization, and I think that's where this comes in. The other area where we've sort of used a lot of, again, development was showing the whole journey of a diamond or showing the history of what the company does. And very importantly, we feel very proud of the category because every diamond, when it's coming from Mother Earth, it impacts local communities, it impacts the wildlife around it and all of that. So when we interact with today's consumers, they are really interested in the story. It's not just buy for the bling. They want to know where their product is coming from. They want to know whether it's sustainably done. And I think tools like this and realities created is really takes them into a world which otherwise they just can read on a book. So we really physically take them around there.
You described it very well, and this is a typical case of where you can use immersive technology and especially virtual reality in this particular case. I mean, I remember last year in the month of October, I was in Melbourne speaking at an Industry 4.0 conference, and I found that there were a lot of people from Ford Motors in the audience. And that was a bit surprising because Ford has stopped manufacturing cars in Australia purely because of the small size of the economy and the high labor cost over here. So I asked those guys in one of the breaks, I said, "What are you guys? I thought Ford is no longer in Australia." They said, "No, we've got a team of about 1,200 people who are working in the design department." I said, "Man, your plants are all over the world and you are sitting in an isolated place in down under. So how does it work? And they gave me a great example of how they are collaborating in virtual reality. In fact, there is a real active live cases in product design and development when you can use immersive technology because you are able to kind of see what it is. You can go straight into three-dimensional models. Just love the story and the great opportunity for you to bring not only a bottom line impact but also make it more engaging. So thank you very much for that. And I now go across to Arun. Arun, from the customer experience perspective, I love the example that you gave me of where flights were getting delayed in the winter months in Delhi. We all know that, and the passengers are stranded at the airport, not knowing anything what to do. And to have that kind of an experience over there to keep them engaged is fabulous. In fact, number of times at landing at airports in India, I saw that, but I could never figure out as to what, because I wasn't aware that this is what you are doing. So tell me, you got multiple channels, you got the web also, you got this airport kind of mirrors also. So from a customer experience perspective, how are you seeing the difference?
Yeah, Pradeep. So one of the after effects or the effects of COVID is that a good part of the customer journey has got digitized. And customers are starting their journey. You could start your journey online, you could pause it, you can restart it in the store and then come back online to buy. So, it's far more complex than a simple process where, you get information, you come to the store and buy. Journeys are quite mixed and quite complex today, and we need to as a brand and as a player, you need to play in all aspects and give as many opportunities for consumers to explore, experience, and then choose to buy from wherever they choose to buy. And that's what we are trying to do by engaging with customers in public spaces, through pop-up stores, by engaging with them in the store and also in the online world. And I think the whole digitization part of it was, in the current scheme of things, is also to keep them safe and give them the opportunity to shop conveniently and comfortably from their homes. And that's what many consumers have wanted in these times. It's quite amazing for us to see how consumers have adopted digital technology to buy jewelry, which is a very involved purchase, right? And it's not something that you wake up in the morning and it's not really it's a much considered purchase. And to see the way that they have embraced it, they've adopted it, is very, very heartening, and gives us a lot of confidence to kind of invest more and walk down this path much more than perhaps we may have wanted to before.
This is fabulous to hear that, you see, because what you've done is that you started the customer experience journey from their home itself. And I'll pick you up more on that. But let me now first go across to Philip. Philip, we are living in a world where technology is ever pervasive. Now, so is the case in watches. Today, smartwatch is the name. Now, here you got the likes of Apple's, who are, multi-trillion-dollar companies, and here is Favre-Leuba, who's the second oldest. So, how does that kind of happen? Do people want to buy a watch from Favre-Leuba, or do they want to buy a smartwatch from Apple? So this confluence between technology and business in the watch industry has got me a bit confused. So I want to hear more
No,
about it from you.
No, it's great. We have to congratulate Apple for such a great job. They became the number one watch brand in the world by such a short time. They are now selling more than 35 million watches a year, and they are bringing the watch back on the wrist of people out in the street. And this is a great thing. They are a competitor of us, but they are opening us a lot of new opportunities. So a lot of people were looking, what time is it on their phone today, are wearing again a watch. So the feeling, how does it feel to wear a watch, is coming back on the wrist. And this will also open for us the market, because today people are no more wearing only one watch. You go out in the gym, you wear your maybe your watch, then you have a meeting, you go very often, you have different watches, and the watch is always adapted to the situation you're in. And this is for us a great thing. So for me, this is not a competitor who is going against the market. He's increasing the possibilities, he's increasing the market, and he's opening the door for a lot of other brands. And therefore, I'm saying thank you to Apple to have presented such an innovation. And this is a great thing for all the brands out there in the market. And you can already see that the different watch brands have already adapted, and they are bringing out their own connected watch. So also there, they are innovating. What is next? What can we change to get closer to the future client? And I think this is also very important, because the watch industry, we have lost this connection to the market, because we have been so happy with the results of the last year. We have been focused on ourselves. We have been focused on what we want, and we have been a little bit blinded by the success we had. And now we are focusing again on the market, on the clients, and we are listening to them, and we are asking ourselves, what do they want? And I think all this process is, at the end of the day, very positive for the industry and very positive for the client.
I think what we should actually talk about and discuss in detail is how augmented reality is leveraging the jewelry and watch industry in this contactless world. And I think, this whole immersive experience of AR, VR together, of how we not able to walk out of the store, but still we want to experience it. So very recently, a month back, I had one of the most amazing experience, with Favre-Leuba forum, where I got an email as an invitation, and when I clicked on the invite, it was Sachin standing right there in front of me, and it was a hologram of Sachin. And honestly, I'm not saying because he's here right now, but that has been one of the most amazing experience for me as an immersive experience, because the whole personal touch is very important. I mean, I can send you a WhatsApp message, I can send you an email, but when you see someone right there, it's a totally wow experience. I mean, as you said, it's none of us have our avatars here. We are all in real, but there it was an avatar. It was a human in his hologram right there. So I think I would just like to take you through a great experience that was created by this wonderful international company, Favre-Leuba, just to give you a walkthrough of how, if you want to go out, if you want to have a feel of, how do you shop, how the store looks, and how can you experience, just have a look. So, I can just move around. So you see, there are people there, not in real though, but I can just move around, see the store, see everything that is there. I'm going to take you through a very, very exciting collection by Favre-Leuba for the red carpet. Now imagine all these collection has been worn by some of the top celebrities in the world at red carpet, and all the media across the world had access to this, where they could just come here, try all these lovely pieces. So do you see these really, really pretty pieces here?
Yes, we can see that. So my question is that what happened with the red carpet?
So these were the pieces that were purely built for the red carpet, and I am no celebrity, and still I get to wear it. And I'm sitting at my house right now and still experiencing these products. So that is how cool they are.
Yes, I can see that passion coming out again, Meghna. So
it's more than passion. It is that these experiences makes you closer to a dream. which is not reality. Like, I don't know if at this point I can even afford one of these pieces, but I can still see it on myself and experience how it looks.
I didn't want to say that are you selling people dreams, but anyway, I'd let that pass and I will go across to Sachin. And Sachin, what does this immersive technology mean for your inventory? Now you have an option. You can offer a digital catalog. Now, was inventory an issue in terms of showcasing the entire range to the customer?
I think Pradeep, what Meghna just showcased, and thanks Meghna for showcasing us the Forever Mark phone. And what she just showed us was the first ever trade platform that we built in. And one part of it is, of course, showing technology. But I think as human beings, we like company. We like to say hello to friends. We like to take pictures together. We like to get in a room and talk. And all of these things were also possible on this platform. And I think while you're building a consumer facing world which is technology enabled, we should not miss the human element of what human beings really do and what our products really bring on the table. I mean, all our products, are emotional products. And the reason why somebody comes and consumes them is generally a happy reason, right? And I think while we at times get overbogged by making technology super cool and super fast, which is also important, but I think it's important that we also keep the human element in. And in this platform, to give you a couple of examples, you could get a group of people, get your own rooms, start chatting, have a bit of fun, take selfies, do all of that bit, do serious business. But I think it's important that if you really want that business to get transacted, in whatever space, shape, form, and size, or whatever brand you are, one has to keep in mind that the reason why a consumer is here. And that's not always just to transact. They're here to have a good time. And I think the responsibility of brands is to bring in that joy, that smile, that cheer, that skipping a heartbeat, and all of those things as a combination perhaps will give better success.
So that is fabulous. You talked about customer experience, you talked about social collaboration, you talked about emotion. But back to my question, that what does it mean for your inventory? That
Well, from an inventory point of view, I think from our business, and Arun did touch upon that this industry is far different. And just to give you a sense, in India, we have over 500,000 jewelers in the country. So it's a very
my God.
large, fragmented industry. The challenge is that, and I think with the partners we work with, we always say that you need to move from just being good jewelers to actually being good retailers. And we have to look at our business scientifically. I think technological tools like this take away the subjectivity of saying, I feel that's going to happen, or I feel this is going to sell. Two, which is also important in the business, but also looking it slightly more scientifically, returns per square foot, your turns on inventories. And I think the more and more we use tools like this, that subjectivity is going to go away, and real science and real business, which will impact the way we invest in stocks, dead inventories, obsolete products. I think all of this will become better and better.
Fabulous. And this also gives you an opportunity to showcase the entire range without blocking any capital in actually having those goods or those diamonds in stock. So fabulous. And
Exactly,
now I
Pradeep. And
move
just one
across
more
to,
point there, Pradeep.
yeah.
Just one more point is that, our industry, and I'm sure your listeners will be representing a variety of industries where parts of the business are very fragmented. So for us, mining is a different business, cutting and polishing is a different business, and then retailing is a different business. And the more they're integrated, then we will not make mistakes. We will mine as much that is required at the front end. And I think all of that, the science and technology will bring in.
Love it. Love it. So, Arun, another question. You see, there is a lot of gifting which happens with jewelries and watches. Now, very often when you buy something for somebody else, the size may not match. Now, so therefore, do you get returns?
Yeah.
Is
So I
returns are
think
a
it's
significant part of the business?
well, luckily for us, our online business isn't large, but returns, yes, in the online business, you take any online retailer, whether you're a focused vertical or you're a horizontal that has all everything under the sun, the returns are quite high. And for us, I think thanks to this visualization tool that we have, right, which is augmented reality, there is an opportunity to bring down those returns, because one of the reasons why consumers return products is because it didn't look anything like what it appeared on the screen. And sometimes pictures are misleading in terms of dimensions, in terms of, even in terms of weight, right? And also how in the case of jewelry, how it kind of fits and falls on the body. So this gives a very good, and nobody likes to return, right? I don't think consumers like to order and then they like to return, and then, it's a painful process. So having technology that helps you to visualize and take the right decision and get it right first time, therefore becomes that much more important.
Fabulous. Now, moving on to Philip. Philip, what we see is that number of different customer contact points are coming up. Number of different channels are emerging. Some are traditional, some are digital. How do you see these different contact points and channels blending together as we move forward?
Yeah. Before the Corona crisis, I would say everything was separated, and in the future, all these channels, they will work together. They will work as a team, because normally when you spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to buy a watch, you will have about 20 touch points before you take the final decision. And now all these new technologies are giving us a great opportunities to give service to the clients, that they can have these touch points. They can have a look on the watch, they can wear the watch, they can talk about the watch, and over the time they will get and they will take the final decision. So to work together with these different channels is even making the market bigger for us, because people have all the time in the world to take a decision. When they are not connected to retail, the brand will visit them in their houses and will support them to take a decision. So for me, it's something very interesting. Instead of being a competitor, when we talk about different channels, all these channels will work together. And it's also very important that the retail, who is still a very traditional thing out there in the world, that also they're going to open their doors to this new technology, so that the client at the end can have a look at home. He will make a decision and he will come to the shop to pick the product up or to try it out and so on. So all these channels will communicate together, will work together, and will give service to the client. So now it's our job that we are connecting these different channels together to give best service to the client, and to make it easy for a client to buy a product, because this, in my opinion, is very important, to make it easy to create this experience that the people are very, let's say, interested and motivated at the end of the day to buy it. Because, as we already said, it's not only about purchasing a product, but it's also to create something, a story around the product, because people also want to have this social contact. So I hope really that we will never live in a contactless world. So this would be unbelievably boring. But let's get ready for the time after, that we are able to connect these different channels.
So that be the case, then a big thank you to all of you for joining for this session today. It has been absolutely lovely. I enjoyed the discussion, and I trust that you also enjoyed the discussion. This is Pradeep Khanna signing off from Sydney, and I look forward to remaining in touch with everybody else. And Meghna, if you got something else to show, please put it on. And then we say goodbye, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is in your part of the world. Bye for now.
Brands all over the world continue to experiment and innovate in an attempt to engage with potential customers. This is the first time that such an out-of-the-box marketing initiative has been done at any airport across the globe. The place served as a perfect platform for Tanishq and Mirar to turn an advertisement into an experience. Styledotme has created first-of-its-kind, real-time augmented reality platform for jewelry try-on called Mirar. The customers can easily swipe through the entire inventory without going through multiple physical trials. Mirar strives to attain the heritage credibility around the globe, where every jeweler in the world would want to integrate this augmented reality application from India into their customer experience journey.